I know now that my wife has become host to a Kandarian demon. I fear that the only way to stop those possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
It's truly frightening.
This isn't a
Because you're home.
Oh man, I got this. Take one for me too, man. Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Three Corners of Horror Live here on Horror Fiend TV. It is Thursday night. I'm excited. We're going to be doing My Little Pony. No, wait, that's not the one. Never mind. Sorry. So tonight, don't worry, Ricky will be joining us shortly. But right now, let me introduce the panel that we've got. Returning once again, the lovely Lindsay. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me. Super excited to talk about this one. I'm curious what you guys think.
So it's funny because I worry now that every time we pick movies that we're looking forward to, a weird trend has been happening to us. So what about you, JR? How you doing tonight, my brother?
Funny, I just watched this like about 3 hours ago, so I'm coming in really fresh. Yeah, I mean, was this another A24 hit, or was this, I don't know, maybe rather watch My Little Pony?
Oh no. You took my joke and turned it around on me. That's not good. But yes, tonight we're going to be discussing the 2025 movie My Little Pony. It was directed and written.
My Little Pony.
See, now it's in my head. We're going to be talking Death of a Unicorn, not My Little Pony. And it is written and directed by Alex Scharfman, and it stars Paul Rudd as Elliot, Jenny Ortega as Ridley, Tia Leone, I love her, as Belinda, Will Poulter as Shepard, and Richard E. Grant as Odell. So if you have not seen the movie, we're gonna completely ruin it for you. So keep listening, or watch the movie and then just come back and watch the replay. But so yes, the movie is about a father and daughter on their way. Basically, he's trying to get a job to become the proxy for this rich family. And on his way there, Elliot and his daughter are trying to kind of reconnect. And lo and behold, a little tiny unicorn comes out of nowhere and they hit it. And basically, shit just goes downhill after that. I mean, listen, this was one of my ones that I was looking forward to. So I was like, all right, we're going to see how this is going to go, especially as I was watching it. But me, I like to go in with very low expectations, so that way I can always be pleasantly surprised. Just to buy a little time to see, while Ricky gets here, I'm gonna throw the bonus question out really quick. So in the beginning, when Elliot hits the unicorn, you then have him show up and then bash the poor unicorn's head in, and then decide to take this body with him. Would you have done this? And I'm gonna go to you first, Lindsay.
No. I thought, he puts this giant pony. I mean, granted, it is a baby, but it's still a horse.
Yeah.
And he puts it in the back of his car, purple blood bleeding out and everything. I don't know why. There's no reason why he would do that. I feel like a normal person would just get it off to the side of the road, but putting it in your car, and then even further, the audacity of pulling up to the estate, unicorn in car, bumper on the floor, acting like they wouldn't notice that there was something wrong. I don't know. If it starts off like that, it's like, come on. So short answer, no, I would not do that.
What about you, JR?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure, because my reaction would have been I'll be honest, apologize, this is cruel, but my reaction would be all right, so it's not going to need his horn anymore. We've read plenty of things about it being magical. If you ever seen the classic film Legend, you know about the horn and this magic. So you're like, all right, doesn't it need the horn? So can I just remove the horn and dump the body and see what happens? But I don't know. I don't think I would have taken it over there to this day, because it was you kind of want to hide the evidence. You're showing up with your car damaged, so any regular person would have put two and two together, something happened. But no, I don't think I would have brought the My Little Pony to the estate.
Well, oh, let me Actually, I always get thrown off. I got to start looking straight ahead and not look at the comments because it always throws me off in the middle of a thought. So the one, and just because maybe nobody thought this is, for me, if I hit it, I would have just fucking kept going. Like, nobody saw me. There's no cameras around, and I would have told my daughter, I'll buy you a My Little Pony. We'll try to erase the memory of this. But I think the reason that they took him, or he took him, is because it's a federal preserve.
Mm.
So if they would have called for help, and again, it's a creature that, it looks like a unicorn, but it looks like a horse. So he could have just freaked out, which is why I think that maybe the bad decision was made. I just think bashing its head in was a bit much. So for me, like, I thought that it was like, I was like, wow, dude, like, it was kind of like, you didn't have to do it that way. So yeah, for me, I would have just kept going, but I thought it was a little bit much when he smashed the poor thing's head in.
Repeatedly, too. Not just repeatedly.
Fucking when the blood kept splattering, I'm like, I think it's dead now. And then I was like, okay, this movie might be a little bit bonkers. Let me hit up the comments really quick here. All right, so we've got what? Why, hello, my devilish handsomes and beauties, Miss Lynn's. I can look on the side here. I haven't seen it, but I wanted to say hi, and I'm saying anyways. And then he just showed up. We all cheer for big bottles of beer. And Lexi saying hello to Rick. And then we got Ricky saying hola. And what's going on? Huh? And then we got P-Rock. We'd never seen this one. P-Rock, it just came out in the theater last week. But thanks for joining us on the conversation. And was trying to buy you some time for you to join up, so you came in on the perfect, because I threw out the bonus question first. So,
yo, fastest beer run ever, son. What's up? Hey, Lynn. Sorry,
Hey.
mate.
Well, welcome, Ricky, my beer brother.
Hold on. I can't find the name tags.
Oh. They were just there, aren't they?
Yeah,
I have no idea what happened, and it's too quiet here. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah, you have to skip into the comment.
All right. You can continue. Go ahead. Well,
actually,
I got this.
While you're looking through it, if you can answer the question, the bonus question was, would you have basically bashed the unicorn's head in and then taken it with you to the estate?
Bro, who are you? Hold on. Who are you? Yo,
I know. His answer would have been, it's an animal.
Listen, I almost walked up to the theater when this is gonna be an animal abuse movie, is it? No, in all seriousness, no, I wouldn't kill them. Hell fucking no. Listen, if it's a mystical creature, I'm not touching it, because you don't know what's gonna happen. Especially with all that purple blood. Nah, I'm good.
I thought that the purple blood actually was a nice touch, as opposed to making it be like black or red. So I thought the purple, because it was kind of, well, I guess it turned out to be magical blood as it was. But all right, so yes, so as you guys said, I think it was Linz. They showed up to the estate. First of all, if anybody's ever seen what a car looks like after it hits a reindeer, it's pretty much totaled. So this was a magical being. That car should have probably been even more bent in half. I don't see how that didn't happen. But so Ridley and Elliot show up to the house. He's trying to get this interview going, and the baby unicorn starts to come alive. And we get the reveal of actually who our villains, our antagonists in here are. So who did you guys actually find to be the antagonist in the movie? And, what was their reason for being the villain? I'm going to go to Lindsay first.
Okay, here's my take, which will probably be different from your guys's, but the villain in this movie to me was Paul Rudd's character, Elliot. Number one, they wouldn't even be in that situation if he didn't care so much about that phone call, lose control of his car, and constantly put Ridley in danger. And just showing up with the unicorn again, putting it in his car, that's just setting it up for the rich people to find it and exploit it. Second of all, and then like there's no way he's absolutely not a villain in the way he treats his daughter the whole time, choosing his career, constantly putting her in danger, never listening to her. Like he's such an asshole. I actually hate his character so much in this. And you've got your three rich people, which are going to be your typical antagonists in this, but for me, I saw them more as like they are what they are. They're going to do that no matter what. You know, they're kind of all the same. They grew up the same. The family, you know, they do this whole exploitation under the ruse of like helping others, but it was like they're going to do this anyways, and he was the one that put the unicorn at the doorstep. And Paul Rudd's character, on the other hand, had so many chances to get out of this situation and grow a backbone and like listen to his daughter. And then even at the end, when they go for like his redemption arc, it's so unsatisfying to me because it feels so forced. Like at the end, it's like the end scene and he has the baby's unicorn horn in hand, and somehow they let him go scot-free. And I just hated the whole I hated his whole thing. And so all I'm saying is this situation could have been avoided if it wasn't for him and his selfish needs. And he's the villain of my eyes. He brought the situation to fruition in the first place, and he didn't stand up at any point.
All right, very, very well said, JR.
All right. I'm gonna go with a different character, but I agree with all her points. He was such a villain because he was such a douche. But I love Téa Leoni's character in this because she didn't want her husband to survive, and I thought that was so comical how it was hidden perfectly, and she would throw subtle hints like, you know, like, "Oh, I feel good. Oh, let's not jump to conclusions." Things. I mean, she was constantly hoping he would die so she could inherit all this money and stuff. But I think it's the reason I like this because I love her character. I love her as an actress. I think she's an amazing actress. I love all her roles, and this was like one of the times where she played like a villain type. But I thought it was such in a comical way because even like I know we're gonna talk about this, but even when she died, I mean, you're like, all right, her son hated her too because he didn't fucking kill the unicorn. He's like, forgive me, and he walks away. But I thought it was hysterical that the fact that she got like half eaten and shit because looking up at her son and the fact that she didn't know that he was still doing drugs and shit. Oh, I thought you were, I thought you stopped doing it. And he's sniffing the horns. But yeah, I mean, I love her character. I kind of wanted to see more of her character, but yeah, that's my take. But yeah, I do agree on Ellie's character. It's like one of the few movies where Paul Rudd's a douche.
Yeah, pretty much. What about you, Ricky?
Yeah, I didn't like Elliot, not at all. It's not my pick. It's actually if I would have really thought about it, it probably would have, because everything started with him, and he stole the horn at the end too to make everything even worse. So I can't deny that. But I mean, overall, and this is like gonna be a cop-out answer, but it's the big farm, the pharmaceutical CEO, the rich, all of them. Really said it best when she told Elliot, "Do you think they would let our mom get anywhere near this?" And that's exactly what they would do. They would take this if they do have the cure for cancer. They're not just gonna hand it out and have everyone have access to it. Only the chosen few with the big bucks are gonna get it. But for the moment the movie started, all these bad decisions started with Elliot. But once they got into like what were they called, that family? GR, you just saw
Leopold's.
Yeah. Once we got into them, they're all bad in their own ways. I mean, you can see it with the dad, obviously the mom. GR just pointed out all her flaws. What's they got? Sebastian, like is that was his name?
Shepard
Sebastian. That's all fucking Adam Warlock. Yeah, so, and the fact that this guy's over here snorting the shit, not even caring about anything else, and the fact when JR mentioned like he was gonna like save his mom, I in my opinion, I just think he was a bad shot. I don't think he knew how to use that thing. He tried, but he's like, I'm not gonna hit this thing. I'm out of here. That's how I took it when I first saw it. But JR could be right. Maybe he just didn't want to save her. I don't know why he wouldn't want to save her. But I wouldn't put it past this family. But yeah, that whole entire family are the villains in this movie. But Elliot, oh man, yeah, he was. We'll get into him later.
Well, like for me, as I was watching it, I automatically thought about the Leopolds. But then the more you kept watching it, it was Elliot. Like as Lynn said, Lynn's put. I mean, I can't even add any more words to it. She actually put it as best as you can put it and very eloquent. He was the bad guy here. I mean, he made very clear bad choices. He wouldn't listen to his daughter. You know, his whole mission was that he was going to take care of his daughter. You know, those were his promise to his dying wife. And he's done nothing but neglect her, you know, sent her off to school because she was in school. So he wasn't even really taking care of her at that point, you know. And then his whole goal was to become proxy. So that way, if he's, you know, and he's like, if I, you know, 5, 10, 15, if I make it 15 years, you know, we'll be set. You know, he had like the money, the dollar signs were in his eyes, which is weird that at first he didn't see the dollar signs with the unicorn. That would have really made him a complete and total asshole if right off the bat he says, we can make money from this. You know, it took the legal post to kind of convince him, but he went along with it too. Like, he literally didn't cave to it. You know, it took way much to the end. And yeah, it's, you know, like, Paul's one of my other husbands. And in this one, I'm not a fan of him. I just could not get past how much of a douche he was. You know, but the whole family, I mean, I love Tia Leone. So when I saw it, because I tried not to look too much, and I'm like, well, I want to at least know the cast. And
I didn't know that was her at all, dude, until after.
But, you know, but as JR said,
her so long.
She was so, like, I don't know, like, very, like, I'm trying to think the words here, because she was very good with her words, and she was always thinking ahead. She was always one step.
She was intellectually sarcastic.
Oh,
and
yeah, for sure.
That when, you know, really trying to explain the whole thing about the unicorns, and she was like, "Do we really need to?" And she like steps on the painting.
She steps over. That's the worst part.
Talk about this to make a scene. And one thing real quick to go something this said about Elliot. I do agree. The cop out at the end was so weak of his reasoning. I'm saying, like, you could have just said something better than this shit. But yeah, I think that ice, that definitely iced of. Well, I thought it was a lazy script at the end for that part, but yeah, it cemented his shitty persona.
He should have just stayed dead.
He by the way, he didn't keep the horn because the horn ended up connecting back to the baby.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought y'all thought that when he was in the cop.
No.
That's
how he was
when he's still. I mean, but it then goes to show you that as shit is going downhill for, you know, in the house, he's like, well, let me get this fucking horn because now I know what it can do. So he, like, really, really was such the bad guy. And we didn't like him, but guess what? He did his job in the role. You know, the movie's flawed, but, you know, as far as character-wise, he did his job. Paul Rudd, who almost all of us love in all his roles, made us hate him. It's hard for somebody who was
supposed to hate him, though. That's the question.
I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think you were supposed to. I think you were supposed to.
But the whole redemption thing is hard to, like.
The redemption was crap. But
it's hard to, like, get to like someone when you don't like them the entire movie. Then they decide to all of a sudden, oh, okay, now everyone's dead. Okay, now all right, let's get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying?
But he did his job because you said he should have just stayed dead. Like, that's how much you dislike this character that he shouldn't have come back to life.
He should have stayed dead.
Yeah, so it literally, like, for me, he did his job in the role, and it was probably as not meant. He was supposed to be like the hero, but as Linz had pointed out, choices, stuff that he was doing, it just caused him to actually become the villain of the movie. By the way, it was kind of a trick question because I thought everybody was going to say the pharma guy. I'm like, I'm going to see if anybody's going to say it was Paul. But Rick, let's go ahead and hit them comments before we keep going.
Yes, sir. All right, where we leave off? Adam, right? Yeah, Adam, my boy. What's up, Adam? Hey, I was iffy going in, but I loved it. Adam, you loved it. I would, if anyone would hate this movie, I would say Adam would hate it. Adam's got like, he's a tough crowd, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother. Hey, crew. Hey, Selena, how you doing?
Hey, Selena.
And I can't wait to see this movie. Yeah, she's been on that movie before I even knew what it was. Mama is here. Hey, Rose. How you doing?
Hey.
Mama Lexi. And one more time, I know my baby boo is working. I'm here for you boys. Oh, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So as things go downhill and Ridley starts trying to figure things out, I actually love that they used the tapestry and basically using artwork from back in the day to put this whole story together. you know, I mean, I took art classes in college, so everybody knows like how all that was covered, how art was, you know, delivered messages back in the day. So her putting it together and then revealing that the unicorns were not My Little Ponies after all. They're not going to shoot these cute little rainbows at you and grant you all these wishes. Hell no, these things actually are fucking like they got fat. Like, I don't even know what you call those things. They look like they had Rose's snake teeth. But these unicorns, when we did Cabin in the Woods, I was one of the ones that said, I would love to see a unicorn movie.
You did.
I want to see
And
unicorns.
on this channel. You said it
On
during
this
our
channel.
retro review.
Like, who doesn't want to see, like, I mean, they're magical, you know, creatures. They're not supposed to do this. And to see them fucking lose their minds and become killers, I told Adam as we were watching the movie,
Yeah, right.
Rick, I was like, Rick and JR are going to talk about the CGI. But, I mean, how can you make a unicorn? You're
Oh,
gonna have
but
to do
Joe loves
CGI.
bad CGI. That's why.
Oh, he
And
does.
so
He
I
loves
was
that
like,
CGI.
and I was like, I'm like, you know, in my brain, I went, look, how can you can't unless you're gonna tape a horn on a horse and try to pull that off, which you probably could. I know, but
You've seen Lord of the Rings, right? Come on.
I
Man.
know. So, but
Well,
you
hold
know,
on. I'm sorry. That the budget you can't compare. Go ahead.
much bigger budget. But yeah, so
But you still could have done better though.
but once the unicorns, because I also love the reveal that it was more than one, and then the reveal that it was actually a family. That put a little twist on the whole unicorns being the ones that, you know, now being involved. So let's talk about these unicorns and their rampage. I'll go to Lynn's first.
Well, I love unicorns. I love horses. I think that they're beautiful and magnificent. But the unicorns here were a sick joke. I hated how they looked. I thought they were an abomination. When I saw that baby, I was like, and that's the unicorns in the good state. You know, there's the good state, the white pretty ones, they're not pretty, and then the ugly ones when they're mad and it's like a black horse instead of a white horse. But when I saw that baby in the car, I was like, why would they make them this ugly? Like, unicorns in my head are just beautiful creatures, and I was really upset by that. And there's one part where they're driving in the car, and I think it was supposed to be funny, but the unicorn pops out the window or something, and the sound that it makes was awful. I hated it. And so I was really not team unicorn just because they looked so bad. And obviously the CGI, I hated it. And like you said, it would be difficult to do it with a horse, but it would have been like a real horse, but it would have been much better. And just to go back to one thing you said, I actually have to disagree about the tapestry. I think it was a cool touch, but it frustrated me because it foreshadowed every single death. Like, the intestine death could have been when he like ate her, could have been good, but it was all foreshadowed on the tapestry, so it was just so predictable to me, and so it frustrated me. But as far as the unicorns go, hated how they looked. I wanted them to be pretty.
I think that would have been a good juxtaposition if they're pretty, but they're vicious. They're supposed to be majestic, and I agree, Linz, when you said the small one. As soon as I saw the small one when it's on the road, when they first hit it, I'm like, that doesn't even look like a unicorn. Are they trying to like reinvent the wheel here? Like, I don't know. And yeah, and I've thought about it more too. They could have. It's probably practical. They could have found a way. And this movie has Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, and not to mention the other cast. I think they could have afforded a few more bucks to put it into the unicorns. Because when Lynn's mentioned when the head comes out the window and that screaming, just that CGI was horrendous. It felt weightless. It felt like a cartoon. I don't care if it's a comedy or satire or black comedy in that sense. It just looked bad, and I hate that. Joe knows me. Joe, you're muted, by the way, but you know me. The moment that shit came off, I was out. I was okay.
I know. I like, for me, as soon as they showed them, I was like,
It reminded me of Sharknado, man. Oh god.
yeah, I love Sharknado. Well, keep going though, because
But I'm sorry, Lindsay. Were you still going? I'm sorry, I jumped in.
No, I was just laughing at Sharknado.
But I will say this though. The one scene with the unicorn I did enjoy was when the unicorn grabbed Shaw, like in the darkness, and then it pulled her away into like the it looked like a black abyss. It was so dark, and it just pulled her away. And it didn't look CGI because it was so dark, but it was meant to be. I think that was the best the unicorns and the most terrifying the unicorns looked, because you couldn't see them, but you saw the way they took that body and just it disappeared into the ether essentially. So that was probably my favorite part with the unicorns. But yeah, man, you know me, man. That CGI killed it for me, man. It did.
How about you, JR?
They were better off doing My Little Pony ponies, because do the fucking cartoon ones at this point. 'Cause if you don't give a shit about how they look, just do the cartoon ones. I mean,
I forgot JR's a brony. My bad. Yeah, if anyone would know, JR would.
they had. I mean, the Neil Patrick Harris had a better unicorn than Harold and Kumar. Come on,
Yeah.
that was a smaller budget than this. But for me, it's just like, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna make this majestic creature, make it right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did like, in a way, the difference of when it was angry towards when it was calm. But I think when they did it angry, it could have been, I don't know, it could have looked a lot. It could have probably kept the white of its nature, but just do something different with the horns. I don't know. Just, it's magical. You have this. It's open ended where you could do with them when it comes to their magic. You spend more money on the Aurora Borealis in the sky than you did on the CGI on the unicorns, which made no sense for me. And the best scene for me with the unicorn, the way it looked, was when Paul Rudd put the heat goggles, and you see it at the end of the thing, and it ran. That was the best scene for me. The way it looked, because you're not imagining it as poor CGI.
Yeah,
you're
you see
like,
the heat signature. Yeah.
Yes, that was visually, that was the best scene. I would say that was the best scene visually. And where they showed the potential, where they could have pulled off even more, is when they're going to hunt it prior to that, and it's sitting there, and all you see is the horn lit up. So at that point, you're using the magic of the unicorn to make it stand out, but you couldn't make it stand out in the rest of the film. I mean, that's just, and I think that's just one of the biggest problems with the film, that is probably the biggest downer of the film, that you had an opportunity to create something magical, and you chose to be cheap and just bad.
I'm going to.
Joe's like, I'm going to.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm going to agree, because this one was on my list. I mean, I'm the one that had brought this one up to you guys, and again, Paul Rudd and Jenny Ortega. I'm kind of like, how are we going to go wrong on here?
And by the way, I went in with no trailers. I knew nothing about this movie. You know, Joe, I didn't know about this until you told me to watch it.
And as
soon
as I saw them,
what is this?
As soon as I saw them, I'm like, I don't like the way they look. Like, I wanted. Come on, JR, you brought it up. Legend. I mean, I know that they could be done practical. My thing I get for those sequences that they were going to be using them in, chasing,
Legend.
killing.
God,
that's where it was going to be a little bit harder doing with the practical. And the closer shots, yes, but the action, the killing, the thing that it was doing, it would be a little hard. So you should have still just made them look like unicorns. And they didn't. I mean, what was the name of the doctor that they fucking ripped the
Song? I think Song, right? Song.
No, Song with the doctor.
Oh,
I like when
Dude,
when even though the unicorns didn't look good, when they dragged her,
Dr.
and tore her.
Batia. She's from Glow. Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. I guess from Glow. I'm like, that was one of my favorite scenes when they were sitting there and they're like, they tore her up. I'm like, yes. This is the kind of killer unicorns I want to see. Too bad you don't look as good as I was hoping that you would look. So, yeah, they could have probably spent a little bit more money on their look. It is my biggest negative on the movie.
Or don't even show them the whole time. Show them when you need to show them. Yeah. You could have gotten away with this film with just their presence in the background, feeling that and the anticipation of finally seeing what they look like. And the fact that they showed them. Yeah, I agree. The minute I seen the baby horse, I'm like,
they could have did a mixture of like puppeteering, animatronics, and CGI. You can use CGI to enhance.
Yeah.
I'm not like, anti-CGI, but just when it's entirely CGI, it feels weightless. It feels like a cartoon. Like I said, like, I hate that. That's why I didn't watch the Hobbit series. I saw the first one. I'm like, they replaced all the orcs in practical outfits and actual swords clinging and clanging against each other for complete CGI cartoon like effects. I hate that. And when I saw it in this movie, I'm like, oh no, this is like it's dark humor. It's a comedy essentially. So it's like, all right, well, at least it wasn't trying to portray a pure heart, but still, yeah, it does take you out because you see that it's laughable.
It is, and I also did like Tea's death. I mean, that was another cool scene. But again, like for me, I once you figured, because I again I did see the trailer, but the trailer truly didn't. Another one didn't show you a whole entire lot.
The trailer.
I was in the theater. I was forced to that. It was a little too late. I tried my best. But when, like, for me, I was surprised to see it was 2, and then I'm like, oh, that's why the other one's so small. It's their fucking. And you know what I thought about? I thought about Exist.
Yeah.
I thought about Exist.
Think of how much better did that Bigfoot look?
No, I know it did. It did.
God, a lot better shit.
But I like the movie. It made me think of Exist. I'm like, oh, so it's mom and dad are coming for their baby, and you guys killed their baby. You guys are fucked. So I like the twist that they were there, and it took me a while to actually realize that they were dark because they were angry. Because after they did the whole thing to revive Elliot and the baby, and they went white, I'm like, oh, they was pissed. That's why they was so dark. Because I thought it was weird that unicorns were dark. I'm like, why are they not white? But then I understood that it took a while, actually, all the way to the end to figure that one out. And I think somebody else said it earlier. I'm like, I guess everybody else figured out that the unicorns were mad, and that's why they were dark. It fucking went over my head all the way to the end. But yeah, I mean, at least I will say though, the killings that happened with them, I was kind of happy with them. It's what I wanted to see in a movie involving unicorns being, the ones killing people. So we'll go ahead and get to our any last thoughts, the ratings. If this is your first time watching, we rate the movie from 1 through 5. Some of us used, points, 5, and weird stuff there, like I do. But so, yeah, our closing thoughts, and I'm going to go to you, Linz, first.
Okay, so this is a movie I also was really excited for. I like unicorns. I think they had a really good idea here. I think the concept could have been something really cool. Unfortunately, well, let me say some positives I have, just because I feel like I've been pretty pessimistic about this so far. Small things I really liked. I loved the setting. I think it was spectacular. I loved the estate. I think that it was filmed in Budapest, Hungary, really pretty. And like I said, I liked the idea. My favorite character actually was Will Poulter. I thought he was fabulous.
Oh my God. I was going to say that. Yeah.
Loved him. It was supposed to be a horror comedy horror, and his character was really the only character that made me laugh. Not gonna lie, I felt Paul Rudd's jokes kind of landed flat, personally, but he was funny. I think why he was funny is because of his line delivery. I mean, he brought everything that was needed for that character, and it's like we all kind of know someone like that. Like they're just too far gone, and you just kind of have to smile and shake your head when they're talking because it's who they are. And I just think he did great. So that was a big high point for me, and it was relatively fun, relatively entertaining. There was some cool shadow work, I think, with the horses. I kind of liked some of that filming wise, but unfortunately I feel like they had something really good here, a really good idea, and story wise, character wise, everything wise, I feel like they fucked it up, in my opinion. It was a basic plot. I felt the character dynamics were so rudimentary, or just been done so many times. We have Jenna Ortega playing a character she typically always plays, nothing new there. Cliche after cliche. I felt this movie was very predictable. Every single death, almost every single death was the same. Like it would get quiet, or somebody would say, I think they're gone. 5 seconds later, mauled. That happened like 3 times over. That one part where Jenna Ortega is kind of cornered and she's about to touch the unicorn horn, I knew right away that someone was going to shoot at it and it was going to run away. Like everything was very predictable to me, and it wouldn't have been that frustrating, but it happened like 5+ times. Okay, if it happened 2 times, I would have been okay, but it just happened way too many times for me to be okay with it. And then finally, the CGI unicorns, already talked about it. Oh, I can't. And Paul Rudd's character just frustrated me. So there's some positives here, but there's more negatives, and the negatives are way far more damning than the positives for me. So for me, this is a 2 out of 5.
All right. JR, we might have a villainous.
I know. I'm enjoying this.
I'm joking, Linz.
Enjoying this.
I'm joking.
I don't mind.
No. Well, I'm sorry. Damn it. I called you Adam. JR. JR doesn't mind that either. But go ahead, JR.
I gotta be honest. My favorite character was Griffin. Love Griffin. Because even at the end, Will's telling us, well, somebody, has to go open the gate. We know, and he just puts a flashlight on him. Then Griffin goes, I have a family. And then Tia goes, looks at him, oh, yeah, I knew you had a family. Nobody, he was an actual person, and people.
I'm not the fucking gay guy.
And then he goes, oh, fuck this, and he leaves. I mean, the one guy who had the most common sense and said, fuck this, I'm out, and he left. But for me, this is one of the issues with A24. It's either a hit or it's a miss. And for me, I think this was a miss. Great concept, great idea. And I think what they did is they took the weight of the fact that it's Paul Rudd, of the fact that it's Jenna Ortega. Let's put them in the movie together, bring in their fan base, and then just write a half-ass script where we're just going to just put all, like Lizzie said it perfect. It was so predictable. I'm going to disagree with you, Joe, because I feel like when they did the tapestries, I didn't care for it, to be honest, because I wanted some kind of different research and interpretation of it. So I felt like it was almost a lazy way out because, all right, so we know that your mom took you to the tapestry, so you're bringing this back up, and then at the point she brought it back up, it didn't feel like it was any relevant to it almost felt like there was no point to it because it was like an argument that she wasn't going to win regardless. So why even go to that point? Which her character was always the one that wasn't being listened to. But all right, I'm gonna show you guys pictures, see if I can convince you guys, and it didn't work. I do love the setting. I'm big into like environment that feels like isolated, and I think that always heightens a movie like this. But unfortunately, they didn't do the best of using every tool they could have possibly used. I mean, I would have loved the fact that if there was more than one family, if I could do a fucking herd of unicorns, it would have been a lot better than just 3. Because now it became the predictability. All right, this is the parents coming back to save their child, so they're doing everything to come after the child. We've seen it in Jurassic Park. We've seen it in so many other films.
It exists.
Yeah, it exists. So you wanted something different. I mean, imagine if you had a freaking swarm of unicorns coming at this castle, and then they're armed with weapons. I mean, I just think they could have went so many different directions, and I agree the CGI was so freaking terrible. And they had few bright spots. Like I liked when they showed the male's unicorn, like his horn, when the guy was going to touch it. And then prior to that was when Taylor, excuse the language, but she goes, yeah, I didn't realize that the girth of the unit of the horn. I'm like, but that's why I love her character. And I do agree, like a lot of the comedy fell flat in this film. Yeah. I was finding a hard time laughing, and Will and Griffin were like the best 2 characters for me. And when they weren't on scene, I'll be honest, there was some times where I was like, a little shut eye and stuff. I mean, I had the whole theater myself, so. But yeah, it's just I'm gonna give this. I agree. This is a 2 because with all the star power you had, and that was your only reason for people to go see this movie, you wasted something completely that could have been beautifully done.
I'm gonna ask a weird question.
Joe froze. He froze.
Well, no, I'm froze. Okay, something's wrong. Like I was about to ask you guys. I can't see myself. Hold on.
I was thinking, like, Joe looks mad.
We live, pal.
Yeah, we are. No, but yeah, I mean, I feel like they could have definitely did a lot better in this film. I mean, those unicorns could have been a lot better. I'd rather see a unicorn. I mean, if you're gonna make a unicorn, hell, use the horse they used in Venom, the last Venom movie. That would have been cool.
You saw that movie?
I didn't see it yet. I didn't see it yet.
Bits of it, but but that CGI was better than that CGI for that for sure.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, it's a much bigger budget, right?
What's going on? I gotta stop touching shit.
No, you're good, man.
All right, I know it. Like I flickered on my screen. That's why I was like standing there. I'm like, why am I see it all black right now? I'm like, do they still see
look
me?
On your face while I'm talking, you're like,
hopefully it's not something with my internet right now. All right, Rick, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a 2.5 though for me. The 5 is mainly for the entertainment factor because it's not a long movie. This movie, if it was a film that really went in to be a serious film and it came out like this, I would have a bigger issue with it. But because it's so slapstick and it's meant to be over the top and silly, I just didn't like. I think they should have just kept it to one unicorn, in my opinion. If there was a budget issue with CGI and stuff, just keep it to one and just change. You know, we see it before they hit the baby. Then like come on, Orca, JR, you know about that.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
God.
Hello, I love Orca.
it's been done. It's been done to death. So they should have just kept it out of that. But Shepard was my favorite character too. There's a scene in here. He's so funny, and I don't know if it's. There's a scene with when they're talking about after they're discussing what to do with with the cure for cancer and how much money they're gonna make, and they're talking about the dad, right? Odell wanted to replicate it, and the Dr. Song is like, you can't replicate this. This is not even like this science can't even explain what this is. It's like otherworldly. And then he's like, what? Like it's unique, one of one. And then in the background, I don't know, it was probably ADR added in later, but you hear Shepard say like, yeah, I told you that. It's like those NFTs,
Yeah, he did.
was
Yeah, he did say NFTs.
It was just so subtle in the background, and I heard him. And you're right, LindCzar, like his delivery was great. Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, they're playing the same characters. Paul Rudd is back; he's playing Ant-Man again, and his jokes all fell flat. And Ortega is, she must have found the fountain of youth because she's been playing this young character since I've known this actress. I mean, I first saw her, I think it was like Killer Queen or maybe something prior to that. Well, she was in Disney before that. I saw her like actually, yes, it was like a Disney film. For, her, and she was much younger. And but she's still young and she's still playing these same like emo bratish know-it-all characters, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, come on, man. And I did like that they gave her acne, right? And I said, God, if that fucking acne's on her face just to push the plot, I'm gonna be pissed. And of course, that's what it was. Because you always get these characters that always look the same and they're always so beautiful. It makes somebody look realistic. And when I saw her with the acne on her face, oh my, that's pretty damn cool. All right. I like that. It makes her different. But then as she's playing along, okay, she's playing the same character. Oh, yeah, there it goes. There goes her acne. It's gone. I was like, come on. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for me. You guys already said everything I wanted to say, so I don't want to keep beating the dead horse. No pun intended. So
a dead unicorn. It'd be a dead unicorn this time.
Right. When they first showed the first unicorn, I was like, damn. That thing's like a pony. I didn't know there was gonna have others, but I was like, that is really small. It was like almost like a pony, but I was like, oh, okay. They're introducing the family. I've seen this before.
So I'm gonna give my rating first. It's a 5 divided by 2.
Oh no, come on, man.
It's a 2.5. It's a 2.5 also.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
I said a 5 divided by 2.
Linz, one time this guy was like, I'll give it a 2.35. Like, I'm like, what is that?
I've heard of the 2.5 and the 0.75, but not the 3.5.
0.5s, I work with that, but come on.
But yeah, I mean, so Rick, when I had mentioned before you jumped on was, I'm starting to see a trend on some of the movies that we're looking forward to that we mentioned that don't seem to do well. So I'm worried about all the movies we've all picked that we're looking forward to, because this one was another one that I was really looking forward to it. It's a concept that was going to be different. It's something you had not seen before.
The concept was different.
Yeah.
Well, as far as unicorns and all of that.
Well, because you got introduced to the unicorns in Cabin in the Woods, so now you're going to have a movie just focused on the reason that the scientists kept a unicorn locked up, in the cells in the Cabin in the Woods. And they fucking dropped the ball on this. I didn't hate the movie. Same lens. There's a lot of positives. The Will Poulter's character Shepard was the biggest highlight in the movie. Not gonna lie,
he was awesome.
And when he
Griff!
So there was like 4 of us in the movie theater, and he took the vial out and he starts pouring it out. All of us, everybody in the theater, when he's pouring it out, literally everybody made a sound at that point. So I feel like everybody knew what he was.
Let me ask you, Joe. Would you have snorted that shit?
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it. If there's one of us that would do that, it's you.
And I would have smoked it too. I mean, like I sat there. That's why I felt like I related to Shepard's character, because I would have been like, and then of course after you do it and you have all this enlightenment, well, of course you're gonna want more enlightenment. I mean, duh. But yeah,
Well,
no,
that's how they told him about Jenna Ortega's character, the maiden.
Because
they
he
spoke
yes.
to him through that.
So
I
for
got
me,
a question. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, good.
go ahead.
Do you think there was a need for the cosmic shit? All the freaking. I just feel like that was a waste of time. And
When they first showed that year, I was like, is this another Color Out of Space type trippy fucking film?
I started thinking Guardians of the Galaxy because Alan Warlock was in there. I was like, oh shit, we're going to space. And I'm like, what the fuck is the need for all this shit? It's just
Black Mirror.
Well, it's their magic was
Bad
getting
design.
stronger.
yeah, but it didn't
It's
make any
just-
sense. That's why you had the Aurora Borealis over the head. So you
I
kind
know.
of.
I mean, again, the writers did not go well on this one.
What about
and-
you?
and
Lance? What do you think of that?
I'm trying to think. I don't think it was needed. I mean, when I first saw it, I thought there would be more to it. There really wasn't. It was kind of just like that one scene with Jenna Ortega. I was expecting something like whimsical and things like that, but since we only got that one, I don't think we needed it.
And then
That's a
what made
good
it worse
call.
was what made
You
it
know
worse
why-
too. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Joey. Go ahead.
No, what made it worse too is she said she saw her mother, and then later
Yeah.
on when she explains a little bit more,
That's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was
That's
gonna say. She
shit
said she
writing.
saw all this shit, but when we saw it, we didn't see any of that. We just saw a bunch of like
No.
trippy colors.
And
but
you know
then
what
even
that
at the
reminded me
end-
of?
Even at the end, she said she didn't mention her mom.
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
Well,
Joe?
and when they showed that whole trippiness, that reminded me of The Cell with
The Cell?
Jennifer
Oh, the
Lopez.
J-Lo
and-
movie?
and- yeah.
yeah,
When the whole when they're showing that, I'm like, I've seen this before. They did this in The Cell, and
yeah.
actually, it was a lot better in The Cell for me than the way they did it in this one. But yeah, I mean, one of the movies that I was looking forward to, fucking, it bombed for me. It bombed for all of us, and it sucks because A24 is generally, even though it seems like they're hitting a slump. And a little fun fact here: the lady, what is it? The lady in the front or the woman
in the yard.
The woman in the yard beat Death of a Unicorn. And everybody was talking about how bad the woman in the yard looked. So that ended up beating Death of a Unicorn. And, it's another one. I'm agree. That's why I knew that, trust me, watching this movie, I was like, oh, shit. I know exactly how this is going to get eviscerated. Like, first of all, the CGI, horrendous. And, some movies have pulled it off really well, but it was terrible. JR brought up Legend. Rick, you brought up the Lord of the Rings. They could have done some practical on it, but it was just like,
Keep it to one, and I'm telling you, puppeteering, animatronics, camera.
yeah.
It depends how you shoot it too. I'm
Get one of
telling
those
you, bro.
Budweiser horses.
I'm telling
Put the
you.
horn on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Super
just
horse.
it was. I'm so disappointed in the movie. I mean, actually, the only reason I even scored it a 2.5 was just because I love Paul Rudd, because it would have actually been a 2, to be honest.
Honestly,
with you.
this movie would have been better without him. He just
Hot take.
it
Yeah,
would
unknown
have been
actors,
because he
unknown
played the
actors.
same
I
character. Every
agree.
movie he's in, he plays the same ditzy goofball.
And it's his face. He does the same facial expressions a lot, which is, and I guess I know people are known
And I
for
love
that,
Paul
for their
Rudd. You know
roles.
that.
Me too. That's what I'm saying. Trust me. I was on board for this movie, and it wasn't, I like Jenny, and I was going to mention early on, and I dropped it because I was going to go, my future husband, Paul, and Ricky's wife, Jenny. And I'm like, Alexa, how old is Jenny Ortega? 22.
No,
We're
she's
not
older.
going to mention that.
Yeah,
she's-
she looks like she's 16, bro.
Soon to be 22.
Oh, she's soon to be 22. She's 21 right now. Alexa, stop. But yeah, so
Yeah,
oh
she's,
man.
she don't age. It's crazy, bro. It's weird. Well, she does age. It's her roles, or she's not
Roles.
aging out of her roles. Put it that way.
And I
Come on,
one of the
Wednesday,
things
Beetlejuice. I mean, every fucking movie she plays the same character.
you just said Wednesday. Somebody said, so Wednesday was in this movie, and I was like, oh no.
Bro, you
and
saw
I read,
Killer Queen? That's the babysitter part 2.
yeah,
LindCzar.
yeah.
She played again the same type
Yep.
of character. I shit
Yeah.
you not, bro. And this movie's
Yeah.
like almost like 10 years probably by now. I don't know. I'm exaggerating, but you get my point.
All right. Anybody got any last things?
Oh, by the way,
You
Shaw,
have-
the actress who plays Shaw, you were gonna talk about her again because she was in Shaun of the Dead, Joe. So
Oh,
get ready.
wait, was
He,
she?
he don't even know what I'm talking about. The
Nuh-uh.
security, the chick.
The
that
lady
shot-
was in Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, that's Yvonne from Shaun of the Dead.
Mhm.
Oh, well, I can't wait to. We'll bring that up when we watch
We'll
it.
get into that. Yeah.
All right, so next week we're going to do another retro.
Another thing, Joe. I'm sorry. I thought of you when I first saw this movie. When they're in the airplane, they're from Canada, bro. Did you see the airline? The Canadian flag, bro. They had the maple leaf sign.
Of course, I noticed the Canada part.
I'm like, Joe. We got some comments. So let me
Oh.
bump them before we
Yeah, because he'll only get mad at me if you don't hit it.
Mama.
Alright.
Alright, I
Is-
guess. Alright, unicorn coming for Joe and Adam. Go ahead, Joe. You can read this one, Joe. Go for it.
But if you're rich and dying and a unicorn heals you, I wouldn't. But I'm not rich and dying. The horn lighting up got me excited because I was already thinking I don't think unicorns can die.
Hey, you know
Actually,
what?
The fact
That's a
that
good
unicorns
point.
can
I
die.
know what he's trying to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're majestic creatures. You know, they don't
Yes.
die that easy. I would assume.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing to add. Something else they did is they actually, I mean, it's not that hard to do, but they seem to stick to the folklore of unicorns, like the curative and the healing powers, and then the maiden part is very true too. So
Yeah,
they did that.
Yeah.
they got that part right. That's why, and I defended. I mentioned the tapestry because it talked about the lore of unicorns. So that's how you, in the movie, that's how you were giving a little bit of the lore of the unicorn.
Yeah.
How did you feel when she was going through her photos with her mom and she saw the unicorn tapestry? Like, oh man.
Too
It was-
easy.
Right? Yeah.
It was too easy. It was yeah, because
That's
it
all it
wasn't.
took. That's
Yeah,
all it took.
all of this was not happenstance. I mean, it's just yeah, it was too. It was what anyway. Sorry,
Griffin, bring my
and by the way,
printer.
the guy who wrote and directed it, did,
Griff, never mind.
but the guy who wrote and directed it did Brightburn. I was expecting a
You
little
did
bit more.
Brightburn, yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
He did Brightburn. So, all right. So for our next live, it's going to be another retro review. It's a 40th anniversary to another Stephen King. Obviously, we love Stephen King on this channel, but generally, the guy's written so many books and movies keep getting made. So we're going to keep talking about it. But this one is going to be Cat's Eye. It's one of the anthology ones that he released.
I hope
And it
it's
has-
good.
It has Drew Barrymore, James Woods. So make sure to tune in for that one. Sorry, I should have had this one right. I want to say that Lexi's joining us. I think Lexi is on.
Yeah,
that one.
for
Yes.
sure, Lexi. I think there was someone else on there.
I want to say I thought there was somebody else.
Wait,
My bad.
Radar? Was it Radar?
We'll figure it out.
I don't know.
can't
That's
remember
the
right
kind of
now.
movie Radar would want to talk about.
But yeah, so that's what we'll be doing next time. So Lindsay, thank you for joining us again. Look
Thank
forward
you,
for
thank
you
you,
to
thank
popping
you.
up with the channel. We'll make sure to have all her information on this episode. Make sure to follow her channel because she does not only cover horror, she does a lot of music stuff. JR and her are big Linkin Park fans, so make sure to check it out. There's a reaction on there for her for the new song. And JR, Lindsay, Ricky, thank you again. Another great show. Thank you for. I apologize. Hey, at least this was not. What was that one movie I made us watch? That was like
That
a scene.
Philippine one. That's just
Yeah.
You
it
You always
wasn't
bring that
as-
up. That zombie movie?
that was
Yeah,
it.
at least it wasn't as bad as that.
What was
I
that,
mean,
dude?
I don't know. They're because that was comical too. So
I'll be honest though. This got to be. We all gave it a 2 and 2.5 essentially, right? I think it's probably the lowest rated movie we've ever done. Usually you guys give my film like a 2, and I'm like, oh, I love this fucking movie. Anyway, Joe, take us home, brother.
But yeah, so make sure to hit the follow, hit the subscribe. We have a lot of content still dropping on the channel. JR, sorry, that beer went down the wrong way.
Can't edit that.
You can't edit that. Make sure to check out Tuesday nights for JR's show, and Ricky and I will be back on Sundays. So with that, Ricky, take us home.
Be good, stay safe, stay healthy. Most of all, watch horror movies and stay scared.